Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to Prime TV News with me, Bhakti Abe Surya. To begin with, let's take a look at the stories making headlines this evening. The final Randoli Perahara of the historic Kandy Asala Festival will parade the streets tonight. The Prime Minister is in Vietnam to attend the 3rd Indian Ocean Conference. The government supports manufacture of vehicle spare parts in the country. The amphibious transport ship USS Anchorage arrives in the Trincomalee harbour. In news from overseas, the US Secretary of State calls off a planned trip to North Korea. And now for the news in detail. First up in local news, the final Randoli Perahara of the historic Kandy Asala Festival will parade the streets tonight. ITN will live telecast the procession. The Tusker Nadungamue Raja will carry the sacred relic casket for the 12th time. Indi Raja and Kataragama Vasana Tuskers will accompany him. The procession will have about 80 elephants this time. It includes many upcountry and low-country traditional dancing items. The procession is scheduled to commence at 7:58 tonight. It will move through Dalada Vidya, Yatinuwara Vidya, Kande Vidya, DS Senanayaka Vidya and get back to Sri Dalada Maligawa through Rajavidya. A large number of people have arrived in Kandy to watch the procession. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who left to attend the 3rd Indian Ocean Conference, has reached Vietnam. The conference is scheduled to be held on Monday and Tuesday in Hanoi. The conference theme, Building Regional Architectures, is expected to promote strategic cooperation and trade ties between countries, consolidate security frameworks and administrative processes, and contribute to maintaining regional peace, stability, development and connectivity. The topic on regional architectures is slated to be discussed at 3 seminars with experts in the field and policymakers from other countries. The 2-day conference will draw 250 attendees from 43 countries. The Prime Minister is scheduled to address the inaugural session on Monday. Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva says that the government will fully support to manufacture vehicle spare parts in the country. He said that it would save foreign exchange to the country. The minister said this while attending the international trade exhibition Lanka Auto 2018. The exhibition takes place at the Exhibition and Convention Centre in Colombo. The amphibious transport ship USS Anchorage with the 13th Marine Expeditionary Unit arrived in the Trincomalee harbour today. The ship's crew consists of over 500 US Marines and 400 US Navy sailors. The ship and crew are visiting to further grow the military relations between the two nations. They will participate in partnership building exercises with Sri Lanka Navy and the newly formed Sri Lankan Marines. The training during their tour to Trinco would focus mainly on humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, damage control exercises and medical training. For the first time, a female engagement team exercise for female US Marines and female Sri Lanka Navy personnel is also scheduled to be held.
Also be doing humanitarian assistance operation training, which is a key component and capability of what this ship and the United States Navy can bring to the region as well. There's also going to be sporting events where we have a good-natured competition between the United States Navy and the Sri Lankan Navies in a variety of sports, as well as participating in a reception on board Anchorage for a number of senior naval officials. We're also going to be doing tours, both for Sri Lankan naval officers, as well as about 300 naval cadets. Again, we really appreciate being here, and all our efforts are here to continue building our friendship and to continue to build our partnership to ensure maritime security in the region.
This is my second experience here with Trincomalee Lee. I previously worked with USS Somerset. So this ship is probably one of the most premier because it has a cross-section of every single thing we do. And that allows us to partner as we come around with the Sri Lankan Navy and the Sri Lankan Navy Marines to be able to do all sorts. So over the next couple of days, we're going to be conducting visit board search and seizure training, where we will have both Marines and Navy working with Sri Lankan forces in order to be able to conduct search and seizure type operations aboard ships to keep areas safe.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe congratulated Scott Morrison on his election as leader of the Liberal Party of Australia and becoming the 30th Prime Minister of Australia. The Prime Minister extended his best wishes on Morrison's election, stating that it is a manifestation of the confidence placed in his leadership qualities by his party colleagues. He said Sri Lanka and Australia share a warm friendship and excellent cooperation on several areas of common interest. Being a former Minister of Immigration and Border Protection who has visited Sri Lanka, he is personally aware of the close cooperation our two countries enjoy in this area. It is timely that we diversify this excellent cooperation to other areas of mutual benefit, as our government have striven to do during recent high-level contacts. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that he looks forward with great pleasure to working with his Australian counterpart to build on his friendship towards a more robust and mutually beneficial partnership. The Nikini full moon Poya Day, the second Poya in Vas season, is observed today. Attainment of Arihatship by the Buddha's chief attendant Ananda Mahathera, commencement of the first Dhamma Sangayana, convocation to settle the Buddhist canon, and Pasuvas, or commencement of the Vas period by those who had not started the period of rest on the Asala full moon day are some of them. For Sri Lankans, this day is also significant because the world-famous Kandy Asala Perahera ends on this day. Meanwhile, a large number of devotees took part in religious practices at the temples today. ITN's Savanakras program was held at the historic Heyantuduwe temple. Venerable Valamitiyave Seelaratana Thera and Venerable Diyatalave Piyadasi Thera delivered sermons. ITN FM's Shasanaloka program was also held at the same temple. President Maithripala Sirisena attended religious practices at the historic Veerakatiya Naigala temple. The president went to the historic Naigala Rajamahaviharaya in Veerakatiya today and observed religious practices. He visited the chief monk of the temple, Venerable Muruthavela Sumana Thera, and exchanged views with them. The president was warmly welcomed by the devotees at the temple. President Maithripala Sirisena visited Madamulana in Veerakatiya to pay his final respects to the late Chandra Rajapaksa, the brother of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. The president expressed his condolences to the former president and the family members. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, Deputy Minister Lasantha Alagiyavanna, MP Chamal Rajapaksa, Western Province Chief Minister Isuru Devapriya and Provincial Minister Gamini Tilakasiri were present on the occasion. Former President of Maldives Mohammad Nasheed also attended the funeral. The funeral of late Chandra Rajapaksa was held at the family burial grounds at Veerakatiya, Madamulan today. Minister Vajirabe Vardhana says that the public services performed by Nila Sevana officers will be broadened in the future. He said that a program would be launched for the people to get the certificates they need from those officers. The minister mentioned this on the occasion to west-in the public the new Nila Sevana officers at the Gaul Nellua Divisional Secretariat Division. The Ministry of Home Affairs has spent 8 million rupees to build the officers. Plans have been drawn up to build 14,000 Nila Sevana officers by the end of 2020. It aims to provide an efficient, quality and trustworthy public service to the rural communities. Minister Sajid Premadasa points out that the good governance government is moving forward with the support of the people. The minister said this on the occasion to west-in the public the Muthukumari Nagar reawakened village built at Muttur Kiliveddi area in Trincomalee. It is the 110th model village vested in the public built under Samata Sevana reawakened village program. 33 million rupees has been spent to build the village. Several programs including granting of Visari housing loans and Sundaru Nivasa loans took place on the occasion. The Gamperaliya and Enterprise Sri Lanka program introduced to uplift the rural economy are moving forward successfully. The Enterprise Sri Lanka exhibition will commence on Wednesday. The Gamperaliya National Program, which opened a new chapter of the economy, has entered into a major development program. It gives priority to rural economy and benefits to the public. Meanwhile, the Enterprise Sri Lanka program, which aims to create 100,000 new entrepreneurs, is successfully implemented. Many of them have commenced their own businesses. The Enterprise Sri Lanka program will be held in Monaragala from 29th to the 31st of this month. The first international conference on business innovation of NSBM Green University Town was held today. Minister Sarath Amunugama was the chief guest on the occasion. The conference was held to bring together researchers in business, computing and engineering to discuss about wide aspects of business innovation. It provided an international forum exposure to NSBM local faculty and students. The conference gave overseas delegate a knowledge on business innovation practices in Sri Lanka. More than 30 international and local research papers were presented at the conference. The keynote address was delivered by Nobel Co-Laureate Professor Mohan Munasinghe.
In Sri Lanka, we are coming to a state where on one side we have business schools, we have a lot of knowledge about business management, but that is not being filtered to actual life situation in the state and corporate sector. So you have a very big challenge in your discussions. Also please advert to that. And I make an open request to all the business schools in Sri Lanka. Look at the corporate sector in this country. See how the budgeting is done. See how the management is done. And please suggest how we can improve performance. Because unless you can improve performance in the corporate sector, improvement in the bureaucratic sector, improvement in the education sector, actually improvements in virtually every sector in the country, then we cannot become a modern, forward-looking country. If you can think ahead, if you can allow private initiative, and if you don't put the dead hand of state intervention in everything, then this country can improve.
2 people have been injured in an accident at Valipanna area on the Southern Expressway. A bowser which had been transporting cement from the Colombo harbour has skidded off the road and collided with the side wall. Reports said that the driver of the vehicle had fallen asleep. The accident, which occurred around 4:30 a.m. today, has damaged the side walls as well as the bowser. The driver and his assistant have been admitted to the Alpetia Base Hospital. Transport on Peradeniya Lul Kandura Rikilla Gaskada Road has been disrupted due to the sinking of the road. A part of a bridge on Peradeniya Lul Kandura Rikilla Gaskada has sunk. The Rikilla Gaskada Engineering Office has temporarily suspended transport on the road. Our reporter said that the repairs on the road are being done at present. Finally, in local news, Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva has pointed out that the proposed train strike by the railway trade unions demanding higher salaries cannot be justified. The minister said that if the salaries of railway workers were increased, many problems related to the salaries of public servants in the parallel grades would arise. The engine drivers, foremen, station masters and supervisory categories get a basic salary of 44,600 rupees. If the salary is increased as demanded by them, it would become 56,305 rupees. A salary crisis in 28 services, including Sri Lanka Administrative Service, can occur if the salaries were increased. If a special treatment is given to one group, it will lead to problems in the public service salaries. The government has appointed a commission of 15 members to remove salary anomalies of the entire public service. The recommendations are expected within the next 2 months. The government hopes to achieve the aim before the budget. With that, we wrap up our today's edition of Prime TV News. For details of these stories and for more, you can log on to our website www.itnews.lk. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now and have a pleasant evening.